So before we go over all the little mods that I've done, and I'm trying to take my time with this, guys, because it can happen really quick. You can get these rigs, you can get guns, whatever you want, and you can modify them almost immediately. And guys, I've done that before, and I modified things so much that half the shit wasn't getting used. So I'm just kind of taking my time with this rig and figuring out what I want to do and what's going to work out more good for me out in the field. All right, what's going to work out really good. This is not a mud rig. This is not a rock climbing rig. This isn't that booze cruising rig. This was purchased specifically to hunt. That's all I use it for, is to hunt. Like I said, we're in a year with it, 231 hours to be exact. All right. Mad props to Texas Adventure Powersports and Richardson for putting up with me. This rig had to go back several times, and they were there for me, man, because this thing was under warranty. Pretty positive it's out of warranty now, but it was under warranty, and they didn't give me any problems taking care of this stuff. The last dealership that I was at, and I don't want to say their name because I'm not that guy, but they did me pretty dirty, and nothing got taken care of. I just had nothing but problems. But anyways, guys, probably a month into owning this thing, immediately I had problems with the AC. And I don't know what caused it. I know for a fact it was the first time that Texas Adventure Powersports have seen it. So they had to communicate with Can-Am. And guys, around that time, and I still think it's like this, it's just really hard to get things done with parts, okay? But I'll tell you guys exactly what was going on with the AC. So with the AC, it powered up, it blew, but it was stuck on a cool temperature, and I want to say cool temperature of like 65, 67 degrees, something like that, somewhere in that range. It was stuck there, and you couldn't do nothing else. You couldn't run the heater, you couldn't change the temperature, and that was it. And it was like that for months because they had to troubleshoot this and figure out what part was causing all the problems. It was frustrating because we were going into winter time, and that's when I really wanted that climate control. I wanted a little bit of heat in the buggy, and we didn't have that. So that was just repaired a few months back, like 3 months ago. It ended up being a capacitor in the back, and there was a constant knocking noise. So every time when you're turning this unit on, it's a knocking noise behind the passenger seat, and it would go cluck, 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 cluck. It was annoying, and ended up being a capacitor. And I knew that's what it was because I could hear it coming from that capacitor, but I wasn't the one trying to repair it, they were. So they repaired it, it got done, they took care of it, it was all good. Also, I had a coolant leak up front, and it was up front and in the rear, and come to find out, it wasn't anything that was caused by me or the dealer. It was actually from the factory like that. It was like the hoses weren't connected properly, and that was resolved really quick. Those are the only issues I've ever had with this rig in a year. Those are the only issues. And the climate control thing was a pain in the ass because we had a few cold nights and we just wanted a little bit of heat and we didn't have it. So it kind of sucked, but it was nice because we still had the windows, the doors, and we were able to stay out of the elements. So it was okay, but this year should be a lot better. All right, let's talk about the front end really quick. Guys, I replaced the factory bumper. I'm not sure if I talked about this on my last video, but I ended up getting a new front end here from Tough Country. They're out of El Campo, Texas. They make some pretty stout bumpers. And I'll tell you exactly how stout it is. I hit an oak tree over here on the left-hand side, the driver's side corner, at night, driving around. I flipped my nods up, not really paying attention where I was going. I was making a turn, and I kissed an oak tree. And this was about 8 to 10 miles an hour. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, if I did not have these bumpers on here, it would have took out everything over here on the driver's side. And there's nothing there. There's no metal in there. All this is plastic. Plastic and a little bit of glass, but no, it's all plastic. It would have destroyed everything. So if you're that guy that like to booze cruise and get drunk with your buddies, go playing in the mud and flying through the trees, I'm gonna tell you right now, you better put some bumpers on these things because this is not the time to be destroying your rigs. It takes a really long time to get stuff in and get things repaired. So do your best to take care of your rigs, guys. Down to the arms. The factory arms have a little bit of a high clearance to them. I ended up replacing them because I ended up going up to 32s. And I'll tell you guys here in a second why, but we're up to 32s now with the System 3 XT 400s. The forward A-arms here are from SuperATV. It's their Atlas Pros, and it moves the forward arms 2 inches, okay? The factory ones, I believe, are 1 inch. Don't quote me on that, but I think they're 1 inch, and it wasn't enough room. Did the 32s fit? Yes, they fit, but any type of tight turning or getting into some off-camber stuff, there was gonna be a lot of rubbing, and I didn't want that. So I ended up going with the SuperATVs Atlas Pros. With the 32s, I got plenty of clearance. I got all the clearance in the world, so I'm not worried about it. Again, this is not a booze cruising or rock crawler or mud rig. It's a hunting rig. But it definitely moved everything up 2 inches. One thing that I screwed up on the installation, I did it myself. Guys, I had everything together. I put my tires on. I dropped the jacks. It's time for me to go ahead and do the, secure the brake lines. And I looked at the kit that was sent in, and I forgot the wheel stops, the steering stops. They just some little brass spacers that you're supposed to put in the rack and pinion, and I forgot to put them in. And if you don't put them in, they will rub. My tires are rubbing the shock bolt on the, especially on the passenger side, and that is going to help you prevent destroying your axles. When you're in 4-wheel drive turning really sharp, you will destroy your axle. So I got to be aware of that. I got to go back and put those in. So I just got to make the time to do it. I haven't done it yet. That's a big F up on my part, but it is what it is. All right, to the window tint. I know a lot of folks are looking at it and they're like, you hunt at night, man. Why do you have the windows so dark? Is that an issue at nighttime? I'll be 100% honest with you. The only issues I have at nighttime with this is with the back glass looking behind me, backing up with the headache rack. You can't see. And even if I didn't have window tint back there, with the headache rack, you can't see. So the next upgrade will be a backup camera, which Can-Am does offer. I think you can get them for like 300 bucks. And you can get a backup camera in here, and I'll just mount it up on the headache rack so I can see what's going on. That's the only thing that sucks about the setup that I have with my windows. The back glass is 5%. I believe the side is 15 or 20, and the front is 30. So it looks like it's 5 all the way around, but it's the different percentages that I have that make it look so dark. So it's 5 in the back, 20 on the side. I believe this is 20, and then 30 up front so I could see okay at night, all right? Because 5, 15, 20 in the front, it's not gonna cut it. You need to do at least 30 up front, but it is a game changer during the daytime, guys. This week, we hit triple digits. I don't know if you guys have seen it. There's gonna be other people in the world that swear up and down they're hotter than us, but I think Wednesday, Texas was hotter than 99% of the world. I think the only place that was hotter than us was the Sahara Desert, and it was hot. And I was out rolling around in this thing with the AC on medium on low. So my fan was on medium and I had the AC set on low, and it was like 70 degrees inside. And that is pleasant, guys, compared to not having any type of AC. Being a single cab, it makes a big difference. Being a single cab makes a big difference. Like today, it's 87 degrees. Man, you have to have this thing on low and probably crank up the AC, the temperature up a little bit, because it gets cold and it gets hot. That's another thing with the heater. When we finally got the heater working, I was rolling around and it was kind of chilly, and I cranked the heater up, and you got to crack the windows. I mean, it will burn you out of this damn single cab. But the windows is strictly to keep this thing cool during the daytime. All right, to the interior. Let me show you guys what it looks like with me inside. I am 6'3", 240 pounds. And all the room that I need up top, especially with my helmet. I can pull the steering wheel back if I wanted to. I never do. I usually keep it up. The seat, this seat's adjustable. You can move it up and back. Obviously, I don't need it forward, but if you have smaller riders, like my daughter and my wife, they need to be able to put the seat up. But extremely comfortable. I really like it. I think the 23s or the 24s now have power window in the front, so you don't have to reach up here and pull that lever to let the window go up. I want to say they have the option to just push a button. That's what I've seen. One thing that I can't stand, and I hope somebody from Can-Am is listening to me about this rig, is these damn cables to keep the doors from swinging open. This one's broken. This one over here will open up just fine. It's got the cable, but this one snapped. This is the second or third time I've snapped these little flimsy ass cables. They protect the hinges, so the door should open about right here. To be honest with you, I think it should open up a little bit further. When I replace these cables, that's what I'm gonna do, is give it a little bit more room to open up. But they snapped. I was on a hunt one night, seen a coyote, opened up my door. Winds were like 13, 15, something like that, miles an hour. And it just took the door and just swung it open. Even with the windows down, it just took it and it snapped it right open. And it does bend the hinges. All right, to the rear of the rig, and it's covered in dust, man. And guys, it's dry out here and this thing's dirty, but this is my favorite feature of the Can-Am Defender Pro, and it's their 6-foot bed. This is a 6-foot bed. And a lot of people have been asking questions, and I get people pull me over. They pull me over, but they'll stop at the gas station and BS with me when it's on the trailer. And they're like, how did you get that bed? The bed comes like this factory, but it has its sides, okay? So you have a side here, of course, another side here, and your tailgate. You can remove your tailgate, you pop it off just like you do on your regular pickup truck, pull your cables off, pull it up out of the little notch, take your tailgate off, and underneath here are 2 bolts, 2 screws. We'll say bolts, they're not screws, but there's 2 bolts on each side that lock in the actual sides of the Can-Am bed. Remove those 2 bolts and literally slide it, pick it up, and pull it off. And I'm at the point now where I don't even use the bolts anymore when I put it on here because the tailgate keeps it in place. But if you want to stay safe, just put 1 bolt in there. You don't have to run 2 of the bolts in there. But I don't ever run the sides anymore, to be honest with you. I prefer the flatbed. Yeah, some stuff falls off here and there. We end up finding that I've dropped a few tripods off of here and lost a pig or 2, but it is what it is. It's such a cool feature because you can literally do whatever you want on here. This is worth not having 2 back seats. This is definitely worth it. The factory bed on the Max are really, really small, and we were always limited to how much we can stack in the rear. And guys, if you follow me on IG, you've seen this bed stacked. We've had over 25 pigs back here and 28 coyotes, different hunts, and they take up every bit of this bed. Next we have up here is the Thumper Fab headache rack, all right? And guys, I was back and forth about this, all right? And I was like, man, do I really need this? And I'm telling you guys right now, it is the shit, all right? I love it. It has pods up there. It has spots for your light pods. It has a 1,000-pound winch. This winch, this headache rack is rated for 1,000 pounds. So if you're out and you're hunting and you got this big old pig, you got to get up. You know, some of these ranchers don't like these big pigs left in the fields. You just tilt the bed, run that damn winch down here, and that winch is going to give you a hand getting that big pig back up into bed. Now, this is one thing that Thumper Fab does not talk about on their website or on their social media or anywhere else, but they should talk about it, but I will. With these Roto Packs, water containers or fuel containers that you get, I believe these are 1.75, you cannot tilt the bed. You have to take those containers off to be able to tilt the bed. And I should have known better. It is what it is, but right now it is always a good thing to have water on hand for the rig, washing our hands, in case there's a fire. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, fires can happen when we're hunting. So it's really nice to go out there and hurry up and put that fire out. it's always good to have water. On the bigger ranches, when we're hunting all weekend long, I will throw a fuel pack on one side and have water on the other. But water is definitely something we always need in the summertime. Man, look how aggressive these tires are. They're soft. As you can see, I'm bending the lugs here pretty good, but I still can't believe how smooth these tires are. The wheel just does not shake, and it doesn't vibrate at low speeds either. These are 32 by 10s on a 15-inch wheel. They're a little heavy, and now I understand why people run bigger wheel size. So there's guys out there running 17, 18s, and 20s. But you know, and they save some weight with that. But guys, I just love the look of a 15-inch wheel on these side-by-sides with a 32 or bigger wheel. When it's time to replace this, I know for a fact with the 2-inch forward A-arms, I got rooms for 33s, but I'm a little bit worried about weight, and then we're gonna have to get a clutch kit on here and do all kinds of shit, and I don't want to do that right now. One thing I didn't talk about, folks, is the springs. I didn't do any type of suspension, well, this is probably considered a suspension lift, but I didn't do any brackets. I didn't do anything with my A-arms in the rear. I left those alone, but we did replace the springs. So we have S3 springs on here, which from what I've seen is almost 2 inches of lift. So we got the S3 springs, they're HD springs for the Can-Am Defender, gives me about 2 inches of lift, and the 32-inch tires, which has me close to 18 inches of ground clearance, which is a lot of room. I've hunted out of a lot of different rigs, and guys, at the end of the day, it's really hard to beat these side-by-sides. And if you hunt as much as I do, and you're dedicated to the game as much as I am, you can justify something like this. If you're a part-timer, this ain't for you, all right? This ain't for you. But what I absolutely love about it, like I said, is the 6-foot bed and the front end. I don't have to worry about that long hood that I had on a Jeep. I used to hunt out of an XJ, and I hunted out of a JK too, XJ and a JK. And the hood, you know, turning rate, being able to get into these tight trails, going in the woods and recovering something. The mud, you know, I couldn't tell you how many times I've buried Jeeps and little trucks, man. It happens, and I buried this too, but it's easier to get out, all right? I love it. The guys over at Texas Adventure Powersports, they've been extremely pleasant to me, man, and every time I go up there, they help me out, and they try to lead me in the right direction. I need to go back up there and get it maintenance, get oil change and all that kind of stuff. I keep the hours, might be a little high for some folks. It's not that high for a year, but man, it's not hard use. This thing rarely sees speeds at 30 miles an hour, rarely. I'm doing everything I can to take care of it because I knew how hard it was to get this one. So I'm doing everything I can to baby it. One thing I didn't talk about really quick, and I'll show you real quick, is some storage compartments here. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It goes all the way through and opens up to the other side. I'm sure I can figure out something. It's definitely a damn good place to have storage, especially when it starts raining and we got to hurry up and hide gear and we don't have that room inside. We can just throw all the rifles in cases or whatever, extra coolers, little coolers. There's a lot of room underneath there. Recovery ropes and all that kind of stuff. You can throw all that stuff down in there. It's a ton of room. But anyways, guys, I'm loving it. Lots of power on this rig. I have noticed that I lost the top end speed with it, with these tires. I believe now I'm at like 55 miles an hour. This thing used to do 60 miles an hour, no problem. So I'm loving it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm gonna do my best to try to get the other stuff done. So we got a 22-250, 223. We got the new hybrid from iRay. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, that might be the hottest scope of the year, is the hybrid 50. There's a lot to talk about. Suppressors, night vision. I want to talk to you guys about night vision and how you can save money with night vision. I just got to make it happen. Enough of me talking. I will see you guys in the next video.